Do you want an amazing marriage? Are you ready to take your marriage to the next level? Then stick around for Your Marriage Matters podcast with marriage coach Lynn. Let's put some fun and sizzle into your relationship.
Hi everyone. A lot of clues are revealed to you when you spend time with the important people in your significant other's life. How does your partner behave when in the company of his or her parents, siblings, and friends? Here's something very important to know about your partner. How does he treat strangers, the waiter, when you go out to dinner? How is he towards older people and children? Is your partner demanding, unkind in the presence of others? Does your beloved care for you? Does he care for his parents, his future in-laws, and less fortunate people in the world? Is your partner honest, frugal, a big spender, generous, fair, selfish, arrogant? You can notice all these things even in the way he responds or she responds to texting people who write them. Maybe he mumbles some things under his breath and doesn't like this person and then treats them all nice. So it's very interesting in the many little places you can check and get to know your partner's values and way he treats others. Please come up with 10 adjectives to describe your partner, both positive and negative. If you can come up with only 2 or 3 adjectives to describe your partner, it's time to learn more about your partner or develop your observational skills. Young people getting married is fine, say 19, 20, 21. As long as you've spent enough time getting to know the many facets of your partner. This rarely happens within a few months of dating or courtship. A few months hardly gives time to explore enough depth. If you have a short dating and engagement period, or you are under 21, I have a question for you. What are your big rocks? Do you know? For example, one partner is firm that they do not want children. One partner is a big spender. One partner never intends to move away from their hometown. You need to know the big problems in the past and how they were overcome. Many couples will bury their past addictions thinking that they are not necessary to discuss. So that's what people say when someone is young. How can they possibly know this about themselves or their partner? It can be done with maturity. In today's culture, we do think that 18, 19, 20 is very young to be getting married, and in many cases it is. And so you really have to listen to my last podcast episode and this one, and if you're 18, 19, or 20 and you have a good handle on all of this, great, you might be ready for marriage. What are you looking for as you spend time in a relationship? I recommend a variety of exposure in different situations. This definitely is a way to get to know your partner. For example, have you gone on a long hike together or done something that entails a few hours of patience and perseverance? What's it like waiting in a long line with your partner? If he or she is negative, irate, demanding, this might be a clue as to how he or she will act if one of you has a long illness, or if a baby comes along and requires patient understanding. Does the world revolve around your partner? Does it revolve around you? Other things you could do, you could volunteer at a 5K running race and do a community service project during the holidays. Anything different to be in different situations, to just take a look and observe how your partner behaves and acts in different situations. Do you have children from a previous relationship, and how does your partner get along with the child? I once knew a couple who were dating for 7 or 8 years. They were both in their, I would say, mid to late 40s, and they were both divorced, and the woman had a 13-year-old son. Well, she ended up breaking with the guy she was really in love with and had a great relationship because he didn't really care for children. He wasn't really present, and they're a package deal. When we get married, there is a package deal. There's a family that this person comes from. This person might get along really well with his or her mom, and you might not like the mom. You don't want to take your spouse away from his or her relationship with the parent. You have to think of the idea of a package deal, and especially when there are other children from previous relationship. What is your financial approach to life, and what is your partner's? Get the finances out in the open before marriage. A prenuptial agreement might be in order for couples who have a healthy financial portfolio. Let's repeat a little of what I said last week. Do you know your partner's Myers-Briggs type? Love language, how he or she responds to adversity. StrengthsFinder 2.0 was a fun book that might tell you some new things about yourself. If you and your partner complete the questionnaire in that book, you'll have a lot to talk about. Are you familiar with your partner's love map, the inner world of your partner? What do you think your partner does on a daily basis? What do you think he or she thinks about or feels during the day? What does he or she feel about many different things? The workplace, how is the work environment, and just everything that goes through his or her mind and his or her emotions. What is your partner's sadness? How about their deep desires? Is your partner happy with his or her life? What are your partner's goals? What is your partner's empathy level? Empathy is a big one in our increasingly narcissistic and look at me culture. Do you see your partner's pain? Does your partner see and understand your pain? Especially if there's pain right now in your life, if you're working through something now. You really have to gauge whether your partner deeply cares for you. Please do not marry someone who doesn't care. That is one of the hardest things to deal with, when the partner just doesn't care. What does your partner care about? Do you understand your partner's temperament and personality? Is there anything your partner is avoiding? What are your partner's dreams? Does your partner have any dreams? Is your partner a big dreamer, and are you firmly planted on the ground and not accustomed to dreaming? These are some things to think about. What are your partner's memories that have made an impact on his or her life? Who are some of the important people in your partner's life? What is your partner's imagination like? What does he or she spend time contemplating? Do the two of you line up in conversation? In what ways are you compatible, and in what ways are you incompatible? I'm throwing a lot of questions out at you last week, this week, and the next couple of episodes. I just want to make a brief podcast episode and put it all together for you, so you might want to listen to it a second time. These are important questions. I'm not really taking time to expand on each one, because I could probably make a whole episode just if I were to focus on 5 or 10 of these questions. But I'm probably going to be throwing 50 out at you in the course of this episode. I'm going to keep going because hopefully you've covered a lot of it, and I hope it's not all brand new. You might not know the details of all the questions that I'm asking you, but you will learn new things about your spouse each and every day. We can't really go into a marriage having 100% knowledge about everything. There's stuff that will come up years down the road. But walking into the marriage, it's better to walk in equipped and knowledgeable about a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about. On with more questions. Here's something to talk about. What is love? Define it and discuss it with your partner. Have you been loved? By who? How does your partner demonstrate love to you? And how do you demonstrate your love for someone? Do you love your partner? Does he or she love you? How do you know? How is it shown and communicated? How do you deal with your partner's annoyances? What is mysterious about your partner? Is there anything intriguing? Is your partner an enigma? Discuss these things together. Is there anything you would like to change about your partner? Come on, keep thinking, answer it honestly. People say, oh no, I accept my partner just the way he or she is. You know what? There are things that you would like to see changed. And that's the funny thing. Everybody talks about, oh, no. So just, face that on your own. Answer it honestly. Because what I want you to get to is, can you live with this about your partner if you were to marry this person? Can you live with it? Are these questions boring you, overwhelming you? Well, I have several more. So let's keep going. What holds your partner back in life? What holds you back in life? This makes for great discussion. As you can see, a lot of these questions are getting at vulnerability. Are you working on and improving the things that might hold you back in life? See, this can hold you back from a lot. It can hold you back from making decisions about a job situation, an entrepreneurial venture. It can hold you back from family, by not having a family, by not having confidence or not being sure about making decisions, so getting to the root of what holds you back at times in life. Do you feel you can freely express yourself and talk about anything? This is really important. Having 100% feeling of trust, safety, and acceptance. And can your partner freely express himself to you? If he cannot or chooses not to, he might have problems with people pleasing or affirmation or feeling insecure. He might be the type to resign and not feel like his opinion is important, and a host of other things that we don't have time to get into right now. It's very important for both of you to accept each other's influence. And this is not just a male thing. Our culture makes a lot of fun of, oh, let the man go into the man cave. He's quiet. He just doesn't talk much. Well, I don't buy it, and it's not true. There's reasons why your partner doesn't talk much. It's not that they're just an introvert, quiet, that just doesn't talk. There's a reason. So getting back to the idea of influence, lack of accepting each other's influence is a downfall in many marriages. That's just when a partner makes a suggestion. Does the other partner lovingly appreciate it and think about it and participate in it? So accepting each other's influence. Now, other important things that I've alluded to before is past abuse, addiction, abortion. All of that stuff needs to be addressed. What about mental disorders or diagnoses? They should not be kept hidden. Medical conditions should be discussed. In other words, you're coming to a partnership and do everything you can to avoid the discovery of major issues that you were trying to conceal. In fact, concealing is a big breach of trust, respect, and integrity, and that is what will be shocking to your partner if intentional concealing is going on. We can all recover from something atrocious in the past, but lies and deception are toxic, and it is not fair to a partner to keep hidden some important information because they selfishly are in love and want to marry this person. So what percentage, 0 to 100%, do you think you know your partner? What percentage, 0 to 100%, have you revealed about yourself to your partner? Let me emphasize that it's important to know your partner's background and childhood. The formative years lay a foundation. As I've said before, and please note that if your partner has a silent sadness, a resentment, a depression, a poor attitude about life, and if he blames others, he or she is probably not ready for marriage. It's not your job to change or rescue someone. Again, some younger people, or people of all ages, fall into this category that they think they can rescue someone, they can change someone, they're marrying someone's potential. So you really, if you're marrying someone who has potential or someone who you think can rescue or someone you think you can make over, you know what? You've got to check your ego, right? You've got to check your ego. If your fiancé is a heavy alcohol or drug user, ask what this person is escaping from. What are their coping mechanisms? What do they do to self-soothe? And is it acceptable and manageable? We all do self-soothing, but hopefully it's not overboard into an addiction or into an escape. It's very difficult to marry somebody who's escaping and running. We need to enter marriage as whole and healthy as possible in every aspect, emotionally, physically, mentally, financially. Again, here is my financial common sense. Live at or below your means and agree on the major purchases in life. Finances is a major source of contention and burden in relationships. I've been skipping around, but I wanted to give you a lot of ideas. So let's come back to the main points. You want to gauge if your beloved is indifferent or doesn't care. This is a red flag. We are biological beings and we should care about ourselves, our life, and others. If your partner is uninterested and has no zest for life, this also might sap the energy out of you. You also don't want to marry someone who is inattentive or bored with you or with life. Sometimes people make decisions that are skewed. For example, the physical attraction might overpower everything to the point where you might settle. Some people might be impressed with their partner's family connections or job, status, or paycheck above everything else. We Americans don't admit it, but status is very important to us. Just take a look at the types of cars people drive. Oftentimes, the car selection is not just for gas mileage or use to get from point A to point B. Status is found everywhere. If your partner is inattentive, he or she could be selfish, narcissistic, or have a big ego and a sense of importance. I think that's enough questions in one day, don't you? Please go over these questions again and discuss some of these. How well do you know your partner? Please visit my website, marriagecoachlynn.com, and check out my resources section. You'll find useful information there. Until next time, make your marriage great.